Another round of applause, folks. And now I'm introducing someone who is an inspiration to a lot of people in this country. He's the richest man in Africa. He's also a Nigerian. He's also from Kano State, so I'm very proud of that. And he's a Make It in Nigeria person. So to speak to us for 5 minutes, Alhaji Aliko.
Excellency, Mr. President, President Muhammad Buhari, heavily represented by the Minister of Interior, Your Excellency, our Vice President, and his lovely wife, Asiwaju, and my big brother, the celebrant, the Jagaban Nigeria, and his lovely wife, Senator Remi Tinubu, His Excellency, the former Vice President of Nigeria, Architect Nomadi Sambo, the Governor of Lagos, the Governor of Kano. These are my two governors. Fortunately, I'm divided into two. Half of my body is in Kano, half of it is in Lagos. Your other excellencies, governors that are here, present, former governors, distinguished senators, members, House of Reps, speakers of State of Assembly, and all other protocols really observed. I wasn't really asked to say something until just about 30 minutes ago. His Excellency the Vice President and also the Jagaban Nigeria called me that, look, Ali, we have to go up there and say something. I said, okay. Well, since it has to do with what we use and what we make, I think this topic is very, very important. First of all, there are a lot of opportunities which people are not really seeing. When you look at it today, in Nigeria, by 2020, the population is going to be about 210 million. How do you really even feed 210 million? How do you satisfy the needs of 210 million? It's a great job. It's quite a lot for us to do, and I think that one opens up a lot of opportunities. But this is possible with the support of the government. We realized that the first time we were going into industry, we found out, okay, fine, why did our previous entrepreneurs fail in terms of making things domestically? First reason was power, which we still do have, but it's getting better. The second one is inconsistency in terms of government policies, which are not there. And we pray that there will not be inconsistency in terms of government policies going forward. But let me tell you also what we have done. By 2014, the entire production of cement in Nigeria was 1.8 million tons. As of 2004, Nigeria was the largest importer of cement in Africa and number 3 in Africa, in the world, after US and Spain. And then when Spain had their economic crisis, Nigeria took over the second position, and at a point in 2011, Nigeria actually took the first position of the largest importer of cement in the world. But what we did was, one day Obasanjo called me and said that, look, Aliko, is it possible to produce cement? I said yes. But you know, Your Excellency, we need a proper government policy for backward integration. Now it is history. In Nigeria today, we actually have more than 45 million tons of cement that we have. At the moment, last year was the first time we exported 400,000 tons. But it is not only the capacity. We have today capacity to export 7 million tons of cement out of Nigeria. We're building a terminal of export thanks to the Nigerian Port Authority at berth 21, and that berth will only cater for export, and we're going to start exporting cement to US. We are targeting to export about 7,000 tons. But the good news is that today there are a lot of opportunities. I keep saying that 70% of the entrepreneurs in sub-Saharan Africa are where? Nigeria. 70%. The rest, you spread them over Kenya, South Africa, and the rest. So we have what it takes to turn things around. What we are doing currently today, we're actually targeting a lot of items to make sure that we are self-sufficient in most of these items. Number one, we are trying to do the refinery, which is 650,000 barrels per day. 650 barrels per day of petroleum products will first of all have Euro 5, which we don't have. Today in Nigeria we have Euro 3. And it will satisfy not only Nigeria, it will satisfy the entire 15 states of ECOWAS. We have petrochemical, which is polypropylene polyethylene, 1.3 million tons. For some of you that you know, LME is 10 times the size of LME. That's what we are doing. And by December, even if we are late, by first quarter of next year, we'll have 3 million tons of our fertilizer, urea and ammonia, that will be ready. And all this, we're actually going to put it, we're building today in Lekki. We have a size of about 2,800 hectares, thanks to Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos, who is our chief promoter. But I think my thanks, first of all, will go to Asiwaju, because without Asiwaju's foundation, would have actually taken this project elsewhere. When I say 2008 hectares, it looks small, but it is big. That is 6 times the size of Victoria Island. Victoria Island is 450 something square meters, where on 2,800 were 6 times the size of Victoria Island. And when you go there, we have a lot of this. By around August, we'll have something like about 40,000 workers in the land, in the area. We have about 18,000 today. By next year, we're going to have 62,000 people working to make sure that we complete by 2019. The big issue is that we're not only eliminating the imports, we're actually exporting. When we export, we're going to make about $9.8 to $10 billion revenue in terms of exports. And that will definitely transform the economy of Nigeria. And then we are also looking at sugar in the next 3.5–4 years in the areas like, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Taraba, will produce about 1.25 million tons out of 1.7 million that we are consuming today. And today is the day that we are negotiating to buy 1.6 million tons of paddy rice processing mills. And I hope we'll conclude if they will be ready by end of this year by the grace of God. Well, what I'm saying now is that there are a lot of opportunities. Nigeria is on the way to the next trajectory. I think the government have, they've actually done quite a lot in terms of agriculture. And now we're working, together with the government to make sure that the economic recovery will be realized very soon. The future is great. Thank you very much.
Economy structured for the benefit of man, or have we reduced man to be subservient to the impersonal political economy? The current answer looks self-evident. The political economy should be for the benefit of man. No doubt about that. In reality, we do not first try to reshape the economy to realize the optimal benefit for the people. Instead, we have been conditioned to demand that the people consult themselves to fit the dictates of what the economy is not. I reject this harsh path. It follows the tenets of morality and sustainable economy itself. We must begin and end our pursuit of economic balance with the precious things this nation produces. You know what? You see, Nigeria is actually a prolific manufacturer. If nothing else, we produce 170 million of the most adaptive, industrious, economic unit on earth. What is that? Our population. I talk about our people. Our task is not to lament the great numbers that we are, but to reform the political economy in a manner that put them to productive use. Our human beings and resources and the capital is available. The human capital is available here. Even at the best of times, and with the highest oil prices, widespread poverty, gross inequity, and high unemployment of man is there. The machinery and material describe our condition. The decline in oil prices turned an excellent economic model into rubble overnight. If we do nothing to reform it, we are doomed. We will not, with these two leaders, we will not enter into an economic suicide pact with our own selves. We will dig ourselves out of this trouble because of the examples of those presentations we've seen earlier on. And that is why we are saying, fortunately, the current government has begun this sometimes painful process of salvaging the economy, of reforms that are necessary. I will offer a few personal insights, hoping they may be of help in this vital economic reformation, diversification and industrial policy. No populous modern nation with a significant urban population has attained prosperity without creating an industrial base capable of employing great numbers of urban population and of manufacturing goods for domestic consumption and export. Thank you, Aliko. You are pointing the finger in that direction. Look, we must learn from England, which barred the export of textile looms at the dawn of industrial revolution from high tariffs in America, imposed on 150 years after independence. America is still imposing tariffs to protect itself. From China, which implemented most comprehensive protectionist regime to become the world's most prolific manufacturer. These three nations represent the past, the present, and immediate future of economic achievement from which we must learn. Is that not enough for us? If you don't want to take the Britain caps, take American or Chinese. We have the population to justify that. We cannot depart from what has been proven effective by any of these countries. So let's just stop the time of their policy. Mr. Vice President, there's no need putting signature on papers, and you will soon be representing overseas anytime from now. Please tell them we can live with our own pollution. We are too far away from them. If key areas of our economy need energy from coal, we should burn it. We must press forward with our own national industrial policy. Development of industries on our own. I don't see why this nation should continue to import new springs. What is happening to various newsprint industries, all the paper industries? Yes, we don't like to get rid of even what we have. That is why we keep a lot of junks. But I don't see why we should continue to turn in and out the same method on our refineries. Let Nigeria own it. Bring foreign partners. We can manage it. With only 3 expatriates left when I left ExxonMobil. All managers and head of departments are Nigerians. And the great example of it is you yourself, Mr. Vice President. We are very, very proud. Let us move on with our own industrial policy. Closely complementing industrial plan, we need a national infrastructural plan. And I don't see that national infrastructural funding coming from our financial institutions. We have to create them. We must. New structure need to build to enhance the existing ones. A coherently planned and integrated infrastructure, including the grid. You and I lost so many nights when we were working on independent power projects. What we can be proud of today is the fact we broke the monopoly of electricity generation in this country. But still, we must move on to either coal or any source of energy that can enhance our industrialization. We must conquer political or any bottleneck preventing affordable and reliable power. No nation can succeed in its industrialization effort without free flow at the right voltage of electricity. The impediment places us literally behind of any other nation. I don't see, with vehicular density that we have in this country, I don't see us complaining about used tires and all of that. And we've forgotten our forefathers, Asiwaju Bola and Co. We couldn't find that. We couldn't find any more like them. Or we could not put incentive in place that for Dunlop, Michelin, Pirelli, and others, whatever they need as an incentive to come back to produce in our country, let's give it to them, including subsidy, if that is what it's like. For modern economics, no economy is built on cash and carry. The economy is built on credit. The governor of Lagos and Kebbi and those governors who are collaborating to give us lake rice and other items. There are so many ways that we could produce raw material for our petrochemical and pharmaceutical industry. We have the root, we have the soil. It is Nigeria that you and I dreamt about, all of you here. We can do it. This industrial policy must be tinkered with. We shouldn't be talking about it again. Mr. Vice President, it's a challenge for you. Last year, we talked about commodity exchange. Please, turn it to law. Because I don't see why Cadbury will just produce Tom-Tom and not chocolate. We've only produced cocoa produce that we have in West Africa and in Nigeria. My governor, Akiambode, started from this very great analogy of coconut. But if we go to the market, you can find coconut oil for many things, including my dry skin. That's what I use. Maybe that's why I have coconut hair. In conclusion, one additional thought will survive. Yeah, I had a third part to this year's theme. Not only must we use what we make and make what we use, we must make what the world values. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to invite the woman I personally admire, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun.
Your Excellencies, I have been told I have 2 minutes, so with your permission I will stand on the already established protocols. I'd like to start by saying happy birthday to the celebrants and to wish you many more years. And I'll explain why we need you to have many more years as I begin to speak about the economy. I want to thank you for making my job easier, because the template, the economic template that we're now trying to replicate at federal level is the one we copied from you. And indeed, the impact of that template that we're now working to do at federal level is also being replicated by many of the states. Indeed, the state that I was proud to serve as commissioner in for 4.5 years, where we saw IGR improve by 800%, we simply copied your template. There was no originality, and I'm very proud to say so. Indeed, they say that imitation is the highest form of flattery. And so we are following that which you've laid down. But the economic condition that Nigeria finds itself in today demands that we do so, demands that we have multiple streams of revenue. Because oil has proved to us that it is a very, very unreliable source of revenue. Its price is unstable. It causes us to make wrong and lazy economic decisions. It is a shame that we're still one of the major oil producers that exports crude and imports refined petroleum. When I speak to people at the grassroots level, I say it's like exporting cassava and importing gari. It makes no sense. We have an unproductive economy, and that's what we're trying to reposition. So for the last 12 months, we've focused on capital. So far, we've released 1 trillion naira in capital between May and the present date. And the purpose of that is to drive the infrastructure that is needed to get this economy going and get this economy productive again and create jobs for our people. We've recently launched the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which is a 5-year window, which will reposition this economy and take us to the level of productivity that is needed to create jobs for our young people. It's exciting to have Alhaji Aliko Dangote speak, but the truth is, for every 1 billionaire, we need 1,000 millionaires. There are 180 million of us. We need to create opportunities for our people, and that is what the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan will be doing. And as we do that, we believe that we will reposition this economy. The theme of today, Make It in Nigeria, is just a paraphrase of something that we've been saying at federal level. I believe the President said specifically, we will change Nigeria by using what we make and making what and consuming what we make. It is an imperative, it's not a slogan. It's an imperative for this country to survive, that we become productive. So, the outlook for Nigeria is extremely positive. We've been through probably the most difficult year economically in the last 40 years. We've seen oil price as low as 28. We've seen oil quantity decimated, but somehow this economy has shown resilience. And now, as the metrics begin to favor us, I believe that we will grow. We are doing the right things, we're investing right, we're spending money on the things that will add value to this economy. One of the areas, sir, that we proudly copied from you is that of tax mobilization. It is a pity that Nigeria has one of the lowest tax to GDP ratios in the world, at 6%. The only country that is lower than us has no tax system at all. I believe it's Oman. We have so many productive, wealthy entrepreneurs who have managed to develop without the habit of paying tax. We need to correct that. I remember being in Lagos when you started the tax drive and how unpopular you were. But now when we see the infrastructure that arises, today I don't think anybody will blame you for collecting taxes. In fact, we thank you for leading the way. So as I wish you a happy birthday, I take this opportunity to reach out to the millionaires, the billionaires and the trillionaires that you'll be hearing from me very soon. Thank you.
Who is ably represented by Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazo, the Minister of Interior, and he is going to be called upon to give the goodwill message that was given by the President. Ladies and gentlemen, give you a round of applause, please, for the President.
And this goodwill message is to the 9th annual Bola Ahmed Tinubu colloquium. And I read from the President. I'm very delighted to send this goodwill message to participants of this important event, the annual Bola Ahmed Tinubu colloquium. I chaired part of the proceedings last year, but today I'm sending the Honorable Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazo, retired, to represent me and to air some of my views on the chosen topic of this year's colloquium. First, let me pay a special tribute to the person in whose honor this colloquium is being held. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Asiwaju of the universe. the Jagaban of Borgu, is the outstanding Yoruba politician of his generation. Tinubu is a great mobilizer and a practical man of action. He is equally effective in conceiving, planning, and executing governmental development policies. A simple example will suffice for the purpose of my goodwill message to this gathering: the transformation of Lagos. Tinubu and his associates, notably Fashola, Osunbanjo, and now Ambode, are the architects of the economic and social regeneration of Lagos. Lagos, once the dirtiest city in Nigeria, is now among the cleanest, if not the cleanest. The land reclamation of parts of Ikoyi and Victoria Island has transformed Lagos into an acceptable international city with more to come. Tinubu's outstanding qualities are a keen intellect, prodigious hard work, attention to detail, and uncanny knack of picking the right person for the right job position. Secondly, let me now turn to the subject and theme of this year's colloquium, and I quote, "Make it in Nigeria, use what we make and make what we use of good." It is an apt choice. At the best of times, this is a desirable policy. For our country now, it is more than desirable. It is a necessity. Let me remind distinguished participants of where we were 2 years ago when this administration came into office. 35% of our large foreign exchange earnings went into importing finished petroleum products. At the same time, the country's 4 refineries were run down and allowed to stay closed. If the previous government heeded the call to make it in Nigeria, use what we make and make what we use, that situation would never have arisen. Furthermore, we spent 20% of our forex earnings on imported food. Food includes 12 to 15-year-old rice unfit for human consumption elsewhere, but happily brought into Nigeria. We imported croissants, fruit juices, cornflakes, assortment of items classified as foods to deplete our foreign exchange and deprive industries which require forex for machine tools, spare parts, and vital raw materials. In addition, we imported toothpicks, paper tissues, and the like to complete incomplete disregard to national interest in the shape of our economic well-being. The present administration is very serious in facilitating industries to make what we can locally, and import only what is strategic to our development plan. We intend to encourage and facilitate small and medium enterprises to make things in Nigeria. The government is looking forward to receiving the proposals emanating from your discussions with a view to adopting them as part of our overall national economic policy. I wish you successful deliberations Signed, Muhammadu Buhari, 27th March 2017. Your Excellencies, this is the message from Mr. President. Thank you.
We will now call on our keynote speaker, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, is the Chief of Air Staff. Air Marshal Sadiq was appointed as Chief of Air Staff on July 13, 2015 by President. Thank you. Our next speaker, Jude Abaga, is the CEO of Chocolate City. He's also known as MI, for those who are interested.
Good afternoon, everyone. There's so many amazing people here. Happy birthday, sir. God bless you. God keep you alive for us. I represent Chocolate City Music. Chocolate City Music is an indigenous record label. I just saw my daddy in the building. Good afternoon, sir. Indigenous record label, and we are part of the Nigerian music industry that is changing the perception of Nigeria around the world. Nigerian musicians have been doing amazing things. We have been breaking records. We have been Grammy nominated. We have been, in fact, changing the culture in Africa. And Chocolate City is now, in fact, a forerunner in that regard. Chocolate City is the first Nigerian label to open offices in Ghana, to open offices in Kenya, to open offices in South Africa. In fact, a Kenyan musician called Victoria Kimani has seen continental success because of the success of Chocolate City. And thank you very much. And the thing about it is that with all the creative arts, we like to say always that with oil, there's not much we can do to put the oil in the ground. But with everything else, we are hoping that the support, the care that the VP, that our Oga has taken on his birthday to make out time, that all the governors that are here have taken out their time to do, and we appreciate and we see what you guys are doing. We pray that you don't leave us, you continue to support us, because we are the new oil, but the difference is that you can do something about it. You can invest in us, you can give us the structure we need to monetize. They say today that our industry is $180 million in size. Ladies and gentlemen, that is one movie in Hollywood. One movie. The entirety of Nigeria's economy today is one movie in Hollywood. But the entirety of our impact, ladies and gentlemen, today across the African continent, across the world, should be, if not challenging what the US is doing, it should be at least 80% of what the US is doing. And with your help, we will get there. Thank you on behalf of Chocolate City, on behalf of the entertainment industry. God bless you guys. Happy birthday, sir. God bless.
Mr. President, ably represented here by General Dambazao, my dear friend. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and his wife, Dolako. Your Excellencies, the Governor of Lagos State, Katsina State, Kaduna, Oyo State, Osun State, Edo, former and present. Your Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, Plateau, Kebbi, Niger, Sokoto, and particularly my own governor here, Akin Ambode of Lagos State, and his wife. God bless you. I'm not yet coconut. I see Kabiyesi Obakiolu, retired Justice Oguntade of the Supreme Court, many of my uncles and brothers and leaders. I have seen many of Lagos leaders, Prince Oluyole Olusegun, and many of our people. My friends who have traveled far and wide across the country, all distinguished senators, including my darling wife, Bola Tinubu, our former Vice President, my friend Nnamdi Sambo, thank you very much. All former governors here present, the honorable members of the House of Representatives, collectively the National Assembly, the traditional rulers, and so many of you here, including my junior brother and my emir of Bogu, Dantoro Jr., all the way. And I must say special thanks to the governor of Niger State for helping me to get Emir of Bogu here. So, the commander of the Air Force, who has demonstrated that today's theme was necessary and is being practiced. Thank you very, very much. Your wing shall continue to grow, and you will continue to sail in higher altitude. Crash, you will not. All the members of Lagos State House of Assembly, including the Honorable Speaker, I've seen all of you. It is more than gratifying to mark my birthday in this good way. To all of you, many who have traveled great distances, I am greatly honored that you join me today. Though the event banner speaks my name, this gathering is not about me. It is about that which a people united in purpose must do to improve their beloved country. We build the nation we seek by forcing ourselves to become that nation, day by day, step by difficult step. We do so by casting aside the prejudices of yesterday to forge a more just society where no Nigerian is held down because of its place of origin, its faith, or social station. Where all the chance to rise, to be what you desire, with deeds of honest labor and constructive enterprise, will flourish. This is as God intended us to be. We have no choice but to achieve this destiny. Before I go further, I give a special thanks to my friend, brother, and the Vice President of this country today, President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Leading a group of rebellious Bedlow commissioners were talking about the tax situation there. When we had to debate from a Monday morning, we couldn't conclude methodology and agree on patterns and when to start. We moved from the secretariat, we went to Isaac John. We continued debating till Saturday afternoon, then we adjourned because we were hungry. And we decided to work all through that weekend. Of course, the following week, we had to come out with the tax plan. I gave the deadline. Some of the samples we have seen today. Thank you, Yemi. Each year, they assemble creative minds to address the issues that stand in the way of our national greatness. You have been very wonderful. As a result, the colloquium is getting better and better by the year. May Almighty spare you for us longer. I'm looking forward to the 10th anniversary of this colloquium next year. In this and so much else, the VP had proven himself a true servant of Nigerian people. While our dear president had to be away, the VP performed excellently as his lawyer subordinate. I applaud President Muhammadu Buhari. He meticulously followed our constitution in temporarily transferring the power to the VP. As such, the two excellent men exemplify teamwork and true meaning of unity of purpose. A selfless leader, President Buhari, set the stage by giving strategic policy directions, showing himself equally selfless. Our Vice President, as acting President, worked as the faithful arm of the President, diligently putting action into what the President thought he should do. Congratulations here. These are two men of different backgrounds, different faiths, and professional experiences. They forged themselves into a team managing complex matters of governance in a seamless, smooth manner. Try as the critics might, they could not create any space between them, the president and his deputy. This is how things are when people are united in vision and purpose. As President Buhari and his VP have been, we all must become. I have been told that I must utter some brief comments, on my birthday. Given that this event has rendered you a captive audience, and that my birthday affords me a special privilege today, the privilege can disappear 1 hour to come, but I will utilize this hour the best I could. I'm not just taking undue advantage of you, I am celebrating. Economic philosophy. More than any hour in our recent history, I listened to Honorable Minister for Finance. Excellent. We have to coordinate and we have to think of a whole lot of things. Nigerians stand at a dividing junction. Our challenges are manifold and profound. but so are our collective abilities and talents. We've seen them, young talents. Don't ignore them. Let's help them. And I've seen the Honorable Minister for Industry giving us that hope that Nigeria is not dead yet, Nigeria is not stumbled yet, Nigeria is preparing, and paying attention to the ease of doing business in this country. The giants of Africa will never fall.